Chosen one, stop for a moment and pay attention. Something strange is going on in your life, and your body knew it before your mind could explain it. Some of you have been waking up lately with a strange feeling that something inside you is changing. Your sleep habits seem to have changed. You can't always tell when your energy will go up or down. You have been quietly wondering, what is happening to me? Because even the way your body reacts to certain people, places, or environments has changed. This message has reached you at the right time. Anointed One, Ecclesiastes 3:1 says that there is a time for everything under heaven, and sometimes, before you can see a new season in your life, it starts with a change inside your body. What you're going through isn't by chance. Heaven often gets the body ready before it shows the breakthrough. If you feel tired for no reason, are unusually sensitive, or have times when your spirit feels very awake while the world around you sleeps, these could be signs that your life is getting ready for something bigger. Chosen one, there is a reason why this message reached you today. Stay with me, because what you're about to learn might explain why your body had to change before your destiny could move forward. Listen closely to what your spirit has been trying to tell you. Chosen one, what feels strange in your body right now may be the start of a divine adjustment that heaven started long before you noticed it. A lot of people think that change will happen first in their lives, but in the kingdom of God, things are often the other way around. The change starts inside the vessel and then moves outside of it. That means that the strange changes in your rhythms, the unusual tiredness, and the unexpected sensitivity are not just random things that happen to you, they are signs. Heaven is getting your body ready for something that your current self can't handle yet. I want you to think about the last few days of your life. Anointed One, you may have noticed that even short talks made you tired all of a sudden. You might have walked into a place you knew well and felt something inside you say, "This doesn't feel right anymore." Or maybe your body has been telling you to rest when you usually would have pushed through. You're not the only one who feels that way. There was a time when I kept asking myself why my body felt different. I would be in a room with people I had known for years, and all of a sudden I would feel heavy for no reason. I thought something was wrong with me at first, but as time went on, the Holy Spirit showed me something that changed how I thought about growth. My body wasn't failing, it was reacting to a change in my spiritual alignment. Chosen one, when heaven gets someone ready for elevation, the first thing it does is change their sensitivity. Things that used to feel normal start to feel heavy. The enemy tries to confuse you by making you feel tired after something that used to give you energy. He tells you in a low voice that you are losing your strength, that you are becoming weak, and that your body is somehow falling apart. But the truth goes much deeper than that. You are not falling apart, you are being reset. Your body is getting used to a higher level of spiritual awareness. There is a quiet principle that runs through the Bible that many people miss. Before God makes a person's life bigger, He usually makes that person stronger. It is like what the prophet Isaiah said about people who wait on the Lord getting their strength back. Renewal doesn't always feel good. Sometimes it feels like breaking down old habits before a new strength shows up. And that's where a lot of you are right now. Your body is getting used to a new spiritual frequency. Before a performance, think about how an instrument is tuned. There is tension when the strings are tight, but that stress isn't damage, it is getting ready for harmony. Heaven is tuning the vessel that will carry your next assignment in the same way that some of the tension you have felt in your body is. The tiredness you felt this week might not be a sign of weakness, Your nervous system might be learning to slow down so you can hear God better. You may have also noticed something else happening, Chosen One. Your ability to handle some situations is changing. The talks that used to make you laugh now seem pointless. The noise that used to fill your day now seems too much. That is not a coincidence. Your body is starting to reject things that your spirit has already outgrown. This is part of the process of getting better that God lets happen when He is getting someone ready for a promotion. It is the calm space between where you were and where you are going. And let me say something that might help you sleep better tonight. The pain you are feeling does not mean that you are going backwards. It shows that you are being pushed forward. There is a difference between stretching and breaking. Breaking something destroys it. Stretching makes it ready to hold more. Things are not falling apart in your life. It is getting bigger. Picture a seed in the ground. From the outside, it doesn't look like anything is going on. The surface looks calm, but the seed is breaking open under the ground. Roots are growing. The plant's structure is changing to make room for the new life that will soon appear. The seed doesn't see that breaking is death. It's the start of growth. Chosen One, some of the feelings you're having are just proof that your life is going through that hidden stage of change. This is why some moments lately have felt really strong. You might wake up in the middle of the night with your mind racing, even though your body needs sleep. You might suddenly see things clearly about people or situations you used to put up with. You may feel a pull toward stillness that you didn't feel before. All of these are signs that your life is being moved to a new level of spiritual awareness. And this is something the enemy doesn't want you to know. Your body's changes aren't just for getting ready for a blessing. They are also for safety. When you become more sensitive, it's harder for toxic places to stay hidden. Your body starts to recognize what drains your spirit long before your mind does. That's why some people can suddenly feel too much to be around. It's not judging, it is judgment. God made your body to work with your calling, Chosen One. Your body is getting stronger for the spiritual tasks ahead. Just like a soldier's training gets them ready for battle before it even starts. You have prayed for battles, asked God to open doors, and hoped for chances to come your way. But before those doors are completely open, heaven is making the person who will walk through them stronger. And this is where the revelation gets even deeper. It's not just about what you're leaving behind that changes your body. It's also about what you're going to carry. Something new is coming into your life, something that needs a higher level of clarity, endurance, and spiritual awareness. Your body is getting ready to hold it, and once you know the truth, the strange things that have been happening to you won't seem like problems anymore. They will look like signs that your life is getting ready for a new season that heaven has already set up. Most people don't realize until much later that there is another layer to this process, because the moment your body starts to change is often the same moment that your destiny starts to move faster. And in the next part, I want to tell you something that could completely change how you understand the signals your body has been sending you. Oh, you are the one. There is another truth you need to know as this change continues to happen in your life. Many people get the wrong idea about the process that is supposed to help them because they don't understand it. Your body is changing for more than just comfort or success. It's training for capacity. Heaven is making it possible for you to carry more. And when capacity grows, everything in your life has to change to fit. Remember the times when your energy level suddenly dropped out of the blue. You might have been going about your day like you always do, but all of a sudden your body told you to slow down. You might have felt angry at first. You may have thought, Why am I so tired? I used to be able to do this easily. But being tired doesn't always mean you're getting weaker. It means that the way you have been using your strength is changing. There is a difference between spending energy and taking care of energy. Chosen one. In earlier seasons of life, you could pay attention to a lot of different things at once. You could handle noise, stress, and other things that got in the way because the work for that season didn't require a lot of focus. But when heaven gets ready for someone to take on a higher calling, one of the first things that happens is that energy is spread out differently. Your body starts to take energy away from things that don't help your future. After just a few minutes, conversations that used to last for hours feel like they're draining. You used to feel safe in social situations, but now they leave you feeling tired. Some types of entertainment that used to fill your evenings might now feel empty or heavy. This is not a sign of weakness, it is refinement. Your body is learning to save its energy for the things that really matter. I remember a time in my life when this process became too hard to ignore. I really cared about some people, but after being in certain places, I would feel completely drained for the rest of the day. I thought it was stress or too much work at first, but one calm night while I was praying, I had a sudden realization. My body was responding to spiritual misalignment long before my mind was ready to accept it. Chosen one. The body often knows the truth before the mind is ready to face it. This is why you have become more sensitive. You might find that some places now have a stronger effect on you. You feel at peace when you walk into one room. You feel uneasy when you walk into another room. This isn't a figment of your imagination. It is the ability to tell the difference between things that comes from the cooperation of your spirit and your physical awareness. When someone gets ready for a new season of destiny, this happens for a reason. The next level of your life can't be handled with the same level of distraction that the last level had. Heaven starts to show you how to tell what makes your calling stronger and what slowly takes it away. Some of you who are listening right now have noticed this change most clearly in your relationships. You may have known some people for a long time, but all of a sudden, you don't feel comfortable around certain conversations or attitudes. You don't have to hate those people, but something inside you doesn't feel right, and this is where the enemy tries to mess things up again. He'll tell you that you're becoming distant, that you're shutting yourself off, and that you're losing your ability to connect with other people. But the truth is much more holy than that. What you're going through is the start of spiritual boundaries forming in your life. Pride doesn't build walls, it builds boundaries. They are buildings made of knowledge. Your body is learning how to find peace. We can see a similar idea in the life of Daniel in the Bible. Daniel's life changed in many ways before he had visions that would change how people thought about future kingdoms. He went through seasons of consecration that changed how he lived, ate, and interacted with the world around him. Before the revelations came, he trained his body through discipline and sensitivity. This is how divine preparation works. Chosen one. Before giving the assignment, heaven strengthens the vessel, and that preparation often doesn't look like what people think it will. It may not show up as sudden strengths, but as times of stillness. Instead of a loud breakthrough, it could look like a quiet separation. It might look like intentional rest instead of endless energy. But something big is happening under all of those changes. Your body is learning how to work with the way your spirit is going. It is becoming more aware, more attentive, and more responsive to God's voice. And once this alignment starts, something amazing happens. Energy starts to come back, but it does so in a different way. It doesn't flow equally to everything anymore. Instead, it flows strongly toward the things that are related to your goal. Even if you were tired earlier in the day, you might suddenly feel more energized while working on something important. That is not a coincidence, that is alignment. When your life starts to flow with divine timing, strength shows up where weakness used to be. The odd changes you see in your body are not random signs, chosen one. They are part of a bigger adjustment that is getting you ready for a new level of clarity and power. But this change goes even deeper than that. Many people only realize this after they look back on their journey, because the times when your body changes the most are often right before your biggest breakthrough. In the next part, I want to explain why these changes happen at certain times and why heaven often starts this process just before destiny starts to move. There is a reason why these changes in your body happen at the most unexpected times. Chosen one. A lot of people think that change starts when things change, but heaven often starts the work much earlier, before the breakthrough that can be seen happens. It may seem strange what you're going through right now, but there is a divine rhythm to it. God doesn't often bring someone into their next season without first getting the person ready to walk into it. Think about how quickly this season seemed to start. Life seemed predictable for a while, but then things started to change. Your sleep habits changed. You started to have less tolerance for stress. Things that used to be easy to handle now need more thought. It can feel like your whole body is being rewired from the inside out. And in a lot of ways, that's exactly what's going on. You are going through a change that is not only spiritual, but also practical and very personal. Heaven is putting your body in line with the path your life is about to take. There are times in the journey of every calling when God changes a person's internal structure so they can handle what is coming. Without that change, the blessing they prayed for could be too much for them. Chosen one. Picture a box being made to hold something very valuable. Things that are in the container could spill or break if it is too weak or not shaped correctly. But when you strengthen and shape the container on purpose, it can hold something much bigger. That is the quiet process that is happening inside of you. You don't feel like you're being interrupted. They are extra help. I remember a time when I started to see this same pattern in my own life. My body seemed to react strongly to things that used to be normal. At night, I would feel unusually alert, and sometimes I would wake up in the early hours with the feeling that my spirit was wide awake even though the world was asleep. I thought something was wrong at first, but then I realized that those quiet times were when I often got clarity. I could hear God's voice more clearly during those times than at any other time of the day. If something like this has happened to you, don't ignore it right away. Heaven speaks most clearly when the world is quiet. The change in your rhythms might be helping you learn to listen more deeply. It might be getting you ready for a life that needs more awareness and spiritual sensitivity. People often miss an important part of this process. When heaven gets someone ready for a new job, it often cuts them off from certain patterns that were quietly holding them back. These patterns may have been comfortable, or even familiar, but being comfortable doesn't always mean being in line. You may have noticed that some of your routines don't feel right anymore. Things that used to fill your schedule may now seem empty or pointless. You might stop doing things that used to seem harmless but now seem out of place with the way your life is going. This behavior isn't random. It means that your inner compass is being reset. The book of Ecclesiastes 3:1 tells us that there is a time and place for everything. When the seasons change, so must the patterns and habits of our lives. The person you were last season needed some things to grow, but the person you are becoming will need something else. Chosen one. This is why changes in your body and mind often happen at the same time. The body learns to follow when the spirit starts to move toward a new horizon. It learns to let go of things that don't belong in the next chapter, and even though that process can be hard, it is an act of kindness in the end. God is gently leading you away from things that would slow you down so that you can move freely toward what is meant for you. There may be times when this process feels like it's going on alone. Sometimes, to change, you need to get away from places that used to feel normal. But keep in mind that being apart does not mean leaving, it is getting ready. God is guiding you away from some paths and toward new ones that are more in line with your calling. These new paths may include new opportunities, new connections, and new assignments. As these changes continue, you may start to feel a quiet confidence growing inside you. Chosen one. People will slowly start to understand these changes instead of being confused by them. Things that used to seem like chaos will start to look like a plan. The fatigue will turn into a stronger kind of strength. The power that comes from being in sync instead of always working hard. But there is one more thing that needs to be said about this season. It's not just about getting ready for these changes that are happening now. It also has to do with where you stand. Heaven often gives the person who is about to walk through a door more strength just before it opens. And in the next part, we'll talk about why the changes happening in your body might be the last step before something big happens in your life. Chosen one. As we go deeper into this revelation, you need to understand something important about the timing of what you're going through. Heaven doesn't often prepare people at random. The changes that are happening inside you are not happening too early or too late. They are happening at the right time. A lot of people think that a breakthrough will happen right away, like a door opening overnight. But in real life, the most important changes in life are often preceded by a quiet time of getting ready on the inside. This preparation doesn't always look dramatic, it can even look confusing. It can look like being tired. It may seem like you are far away from some places, but on the inside, Heaven is carefully lining up every part of you with the season you're about to enter. The body is more than just a physical structure, chosen one. It is also a tool that helps you reach your goals. When God starts to change the course of your life, He often changes the instrument so that it makes a different sound. Imagine a musician getting ready to write a new song. Before the music can change, the instrument needs to be tuned differently. You may be feeling strange sensitivity because you are going through a divine tuning process. Your body is learning what to keep and what to throw away for the next season. You used to give away your energy freely, but now you are more picky about how you use it. You're starting to focus more on what's really important. You might have noticed this in small ways. A talk that used to seem harmless now seems like a lot of work. A place that used to feel good now feels heavy. These feelings are not just random. They are signs that your ability to tell right from wrong is growing. And discernment is one of the best gifts from heaven for people who are about to start a new job. Chosen one. As your ability to tell right from wrong grows, it becomes harder to stay in places that aren't right for you. Your spirit starts to see small patterns that it didn't notice before. It can tell when there is peace and when there isn't. It knows when an opportunity is useful and when it's just a distraction. I remember a time in my own life when this change became very clear. Everything seemed normal on the outside when I was in a room full of people. The talk was easygoing, and the place was familiar, but something felt off inside. I couldn't put my finger on it, but my spirit felt uneasy. I gained clarity later when I left the situation. I needed to focus on something else on the path ahead, and my body was already helping me stay away from distractions. Chosen one. Sometimes your body becomes the first messenger of alignment. It senses the change before your mind fully understands it. This is why some of the symptoms you are experiencing may feel unusual. Your rhythms are shifting, your attention is changing, your tolerance for certain pressures is decreasing. But these adjustments are not signs of weakness, they are signs that the structure of your life is being rearranged. Think about how a builder prepares the foundation before raising the walls of a new structure. The foundation must be stable enough to support what will be built above it. If the foundation is weak, the entire structure becomes unstable. In the same way, heaven is strengthening the inner foundation of your life before expanding the visible parts of your calling. And this preparation often happens quietly away from the attention of others. People around you may not understand why you are changing. They may not see the subtle shifts happening in your priorities or your energy, but the transformation is real. Chosen one. As this process continues, you may notice that clarity begins to replace confusion. The very things that once drained your strength will become easier to recognize and release. The environments that once distracted you will lose their influence, and gradually something powerful will begin to emerge. Alignment. Alignment is the moment when your spirit, your mind, and your body begin moving in the same direction. It is the moment when your life starts to flow with divine timing instead of constant resistance. But there is another layer to this transformation that must be revealed, because the shift happening within you is not only about preparation and alignment, it is also about protection. And in the next part, we will uncover why the sensitivity developing inside you may actually be heaven's way of shielding your destiny from forces that were never meant to touch it. Chosen one. The deeper this transformation unfolds, the more you will begin to realize that what you once called weakness is actually a form of protection. Heaven has a way of shielding destiny in ways that do not always look obvious at first. Sometimes protection does not appear as walls or closed doors. Sometimes it appears as a sudden loss of appetite for what once seemed normal. You may have noticed this already. Certain conversations feel heavier than they used to. Certain environments that once felt familiar now carry an unexplainable tension. There may even be people you genuinely care about whose presence suddenly leaves you feeling drained or unsettled. This is not something you imagined, and it is not something you should ignore. Chosen one. Your body is learning to recognize what your spirit has already outgrown. When someone is approaching a new level of calling, their sensitivity often increases. It is similar to how a finely tuned instrument can detect the slightest difference in tone. In earlier seasons of life, you could tolerate a wide range of influences without noticing how they affected you. But as your alignment with God becomes stronger, the range of what you can comfortably carry begins to narrow. This narrowing is not limitation, it is refinement. I remember a time when I kept wondering why certain places suddenly felt uncomfortable to me. The environment had not changed, the people were the same, and yet something inside me felt uneasy. For a while, I questioned my own reaction, but over time I realized that what I was feeling was not discomfort for no reason, it was discernment growing stronger. Chosen one. Discernment often begins in the body before it becomes clear in the mind. Your body reacts before your thoughts fully understand why. A sudden heaviness in your chest, an urge to leave a conversation earlier than usual, a sense that your energy is being pulled away from something that once seemed harmless. These moments are not accidents, they are signals that your life is being guarded in ways you may not yet fully see. This is part of the divine protection that surrounds those who are stepping into a new season. When your purpose begins to expand, heaven does not simply open doors, it also removes the influences that could quietly weaken your direction. The process can feel confusing at first because it changes the way you interact with the world around you. You may find yourself needing more quiet time than before. You may feel drawn toward moments of stillness where your spirit can breathe. The noise of constant activity may start to feel overwhelming instead of exciting. None of this means you are becoming distant from life. It means you are becoming more intentional about how you engage with it. Chosen one. Think about a gardener who is preparing a plant to grow stronger. Part of that preparation involves removing the branches that no longer contribute to the health of the plant. Those branches are not removed out of anger or rejection. They are removed so that the energy of the plant can flow toward what will produce fruit. In the same way, the adjustments happening inside you are redirecting your energy toward the parts of life that will actually sustain your purpose, and this is where something powerful begins to happen. The more you honor the signals your body is giving you, the clearer your path becomes. You begin to recognize which environments strengthen your peace and which ones slowly erode it. You learn to step away from what drains you without feeling guilty for protecting your energy. This is not selfishness, it is stewardship. Chosen one. Your body is not simply reacting to the world around you, it is cooperating with the direction heaven is guiding your life. Every subtle shift you feel is part of a larger realignment that is moving you closer to the assignment prepared for you. As this awareness deepens, you may start to notice something else happening as well. Alongside the moments of sensitivity and withdrawal, there will be moments of unusual clarity. Ideas will come more easily. Certain paths will begin to stand out with surprising certainty. The same body that once felt tired in the wrong environment will suddenly feel energized when you move toward the right one. That contrast is the language of alignment. It is how heaven gently leads you away from what no longer belongs in your future and toward the places where your purpose can fully unfold. Chosen one. As this alignment continues to grow inside you, something remarkable begins to happen. The same body that once felt overwhelmed by confusion slowly becomes a guide that helps you recognize truth more quickly. What once required long periods of questioning now becomes clearer in moments. You begin to sense what is right for you with a quiet certainty that did not exist before. This is the stage where many people finally realize that their body was never the enemy of their journey. It has been an instrument of guidance all along. Every shift you have felt was teaching you how to listen more closely to the direction of God. There is a moment in every person's life when the noise of the world starts losing its influence. The opinions that once shaped your decisions become less powerful. The constant pressure to follow the pace of everyone around you begins to fade. In its place, a calmer and steadier rhythm begins to appear. For a long time, you may have believed that success required pushing harder, staying busier, and proving your strength through constant effort. Many of us were taught that progress only happens through pressure. But as heaven begins to reshape your life, you start to see something different. True progress often comes from alignment rather than exhaustion. There were seasons when I tried to force things to happen through determination alone. I believed that if I simply worked harder, doors would open faster. But I eventually learned that some doors cannot be forced. They open when the timing is right and when the person approaching them is ready. That readiness is exactly what this season is creating in you, chosen one. The slowing down you have experienced is not a setback, it is part of the recalibration that allows your life to move with greater clarity. When your body asks for rest, it is often inviting you into a moment where deeper understanding can appear. When your energy withdraws from certain situations, it is creating space for something more meaningful to enter your life. You may also notice that your awareness of your surroundings has grown sharper. You pick up on subtle tones in conversations that once went unnoticed. You recognize when someone's intentions are genuine and when they are not. The same intuition that once felt uncertain is becoming stronger with every passing day. This is not coincidence, it is discernment maturing through experience, chosen one. As this discernment strengthens, you will also begin to notice that your energy flows differently. It no longer spreads across every opportunity or distraction. Instead, it gathers around the things that truly matter. When you invest your attention in what aligns with your purpose, your strength increases rather than decreases. This is the difference between living out of pressure and living out of calling. When a person operates only through pressure, their energy is constantly drained by expectations and comparisons. But when a person begins to move in alignment with their calling, something remarkable happens. Strength appears exactly where it is needed. You may experience this in simple moments. Perhaps you felt exhausted throughout the day, yet when you turned your attention towards something meaningful, your energy returned. A conversation about your purpose may suddenly bring clarity. A quiet moment of reflection may restore your focus. These experiences are reminders that your body is learning to cooperate with the direction of your spirit, chosen one. Heaven is teaching you how to recognize the difference between effort that drains you and effort that strengthens you. The more you pay attention to that difference, the easier it becomes to move forward with confidence. And as this transformation continues, a deeper sense of peace begins to settle within you. The urgency that once drove every decision starts to fade. You no longer feel the need to chase every opportunity or respond to every expectation. Instead, you begin to trust that what truly belongs in your life will arrive at the right moment. This peace is not passivity, it is assurance. It is the quiet confidence that your life is moving according to a purpose larger than any single circumstance. The shifts you felt in your body were simply the first signals that this new alignment was beginning to take shape, chosen one. When your spirit, mind, and body move together in harmony, the path ahead becomes clearer than it has ever been before, chosen one. As this harmony begins to form between your spirit, your mind, and your body, something deeper starts unfolding within you. It is subtle at first, almost easy to overlook, but if you pay close attention, you will notice that the confusion that once surrounded this season is slowly being replaced with understanding. The very things that once worried you are starting to make sense. You begin to realize that the exhaustion was not a sign of defeat. It was a signal that your life was being slowed down long enough for a realignment to take place. The sensitivity you felt was not fragility, it was the sharpening of discernment. The distance that appeared between new and certain environments was not loss, it was direction, chosen one. Heaven often prepares people quietly before revealing the full picture of where their life is going. That preparation can feel uncomfortable because it requires letting go of familiar patterns. For a while, you may feel as though you are standing between two seasons, no longer fully connected to the old one and not yet fully seeing the new one. But that space in between is sacred. It is where clarity is formed. It is where your identity becomes rooted in something deeper than circumstances. I remember a period in my own journey when everything felt like it was shifting at once. My energy changed, my priorities shifted, and even the way I viewed opportunities began to evolve. For a moment, it felt like I was losing my direction, but looking back now, I can see that what was really happening was refinement. God was removing the noise that once distracted me so that I could hear His guidance more clearly. Chosen one, the same process may be happening in your life right now. You are learning how to recognize what truly deserves your attention. The endless pressure to respond to every expectation is losing its grip on you. Instead of reacting to everything around you, you are beginning to move with intention. This is one of the greatest signs that alignment is taking place. When a person begins to live in alignment with their purpose, they no longer chase every opportunity. They begin to recognize the difference between movement and progress. Movement can keep you busy for years without leading anywhere meaningful. Progress, however, comes from walking in the direction that God has prepared. Your body is helping you recognize that direction. You may notice that when you move towards something aligned with your calling, a sense of peace follows.